Hello, welcome to Premier Scene. I'm Claire Bueno, where we're travelling back in time to 100 Acre Wood, where we're hanging out with Winnie the Pooh and Christopher Robin at the UK premiere. So in this film, Pooh rescues Christopher Robin. What a treat.
And rightly so. Well, you know, it's the least we could do. Bounce on over and help the kid out.
When you're lending your voice to a character, what's your preparation and your technique? Are you still learning the backstory of your character, or is it a far simpler process?
Well, I don't want to leave the fight in the gym. You know what I'm saying? So I show up and I go, let's go. I just showed you my entire prep. That was it.
There's a lot of sort of subtlety, isn't there, and repetition actually when you're providing a voice.
To an extent, yeah.
Obviously every actor takes direction from a director, but when you're in a studio and you're animating a character, is there any opportunity for you to improvise at all?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think that's sometimes why they hire me, which I'll take it. It's a beautiful thing. But this one probably not so much. Although Tigger ad-libbed a few things here and there, Pooh had a few ad-libs here and there. But we have to stick to the storyline. And Marc's story, his vision was just gorgeous and crystal. It was beautiful. It was great. It was like sculpting a beautiful masterpiece, and I hope other people think so as well.
We've obviously got the previous animation that we can reference, most of us as children could anyway. So did you have to resort to that at all to bring perhaps some of that, or were you able, did you have a clean slate?
Well, with this, this was more reserved. It was literally a period piece, if you think about it. From the 40s. And for instance, there were no helium balloons, the hot air balloons, in which they were carried aloft and fell from God knows how many. No whitewater rafting in this movie. Although we did defeat the zombie biker Nazis, mice from Mars. I probably ruined the ending now for everyone. So it was a little boisterous, but no, as a whole, it was just brought back down a little bit in service to the story.
No, I didn't want to think of your character as an antagonist, but maybe...
Oh, do, I'm funny. Keep saying it, I'll get Captain Hook.
He definitely is the catalyst, though, isn't he, that sends Christopher Robin on an adventure.
Yes. It was... they're always the best to play, but he's a stupid, idiotic baddie who thinks he's in charge and kind of isn't. So it was a very fun, real great fun to do. Marc, the director, was incredibly encouraging in terms of just... allowing me to do stuff, and there's loads of sort of physical falling about comedy, which was quite dangerous, and but very enjoyable. It was very free and not kind of I suppose what you'd expect. You might think the whole production, a big film like this, is sort of all very regimented, but it was a very free place to be. Ewan was delightful to work with, and Haley I've known for years, and lots of the people in it I've known for a long time. So it was a really pleasant experience, really was.
Did you have to sort of go back and revisit the books, or did you just?
Not really, because I don't really have anything to do with that. It's all to do with, as you say, it's sort of the catalyst for Christopher Robin has done what a lot of people do. He's lost touch with what made him special as a child, and needs to reconnect with it. So that's kind of what I kick off. But I remember the Disney version so well. And the voice of Sterling Holloway and then Jim Cummings is Winnie the Pooh, isn't it?
Well, you go on a real adventure in this story, don't you? Was that exciting for you?
It was really fun, and then also watching it back on the screen, it's like, oh my god, I remember that. Doing all the adventure scenes and everything.
And when you're acting out on set, when you go into 100 Acre Wood, you actually get to act with Pooh and Tigger. What was that like, having the animals to act against? Was that helpful?
It was fun. It was enjoyable. It was quite funny sometimes. They had readers on set who did the voices, not the voice actors, but they had readers who do the voices. So I'm not just like talking and then like leaving a blank and then talking again.
And yet you were in a period costume. What was that like, dressing up so completely different in another world?
Well, all the costume designers did a really, really great job, and I thought it was really special, and it was great that I got to wear all the costumes. It was really fun.
You're working with people like Ewan McGregor and Hayley Atwell. You must have learned such a great deal from them.
Yeah, They were just really sweet and kind, and I won't forget working with them.
It's crafted with love, I felt, watching the film. Was it important for you to really connect with the source material?
I'm glad you're saying that it was crafted with love, because that's what I worked on, and I wanted, Pooh's sweater is about the heart, as I mentioned, and I think that heart I tried to incorporate in the movie,
I was talking to Marc, and he was saying you're sort of very free and collaborative. Is that important for you when you're working with your actors, to give them the freedom to create as well?
You hire an actor who want to be right for the job, and he's physically so brilliant as an actor, so you want to make sure that that person gives you the best he can. And when I once realized he has this physical comedy, I said we have to go for it.
And the film, the look and feel and the aesthetic feels very much like we're transported to the time. Can you tell us a little bit about the work that you did with your director of photography to create that?
Yes, I wanted a very real feeling, and a lot of it was shot handheld for the first time for an animated film like this. So it's like we have a lot of close-ups. That I wanted the audience to, through this technique, to forget that they're actually animated characters, that you feel like they're real.
And tonally as well with the film, it would have been very easy to get carried away and create a huge tear jerker. So how important was it to create the balance that you have an element of that, but also play to a children's audience too?
I want to make sure that there's enough laughter and fun, and I think this movie is about that was just a bee. I think he's coming for Pooh.
Honey!
Yes, exactly. You got the honey. Maybe Mr. Gatiss got it. The honey. Gatiss.
You're
sorry.
fired.
Yes.
I know.
Gatiss. That's the German.
Yeah. Just think gay.
Yes. So.
You'd worked very hard to tonally set it right for all the audience.
Yes. No, I wanted to make sure that because I made the movie for my daughter as well, so I want to make sure she connects and has fun, but at the same time that I can connect with, my mom can connect. It's for every generation, and because Pooh is like, we all need a Pooh to hug. My daughter needs one to hug, and I need one. And oops, that was another one. They were being attacked. All right.
You must be absolutely thrilled with the end result of Christopher Robin.
Thank you for saying that. We had such an amazing time working together on it that it's really, really lovely to be here tonight and share it with everyone. It was truly a great experience.
Watching the film, it really feels like there was so much care and attention and diligence paid to making this film as authentic and paying tribute to the source material as possible.
I'm very happy you noticed that, because that was our intention, to really pay close detail, be very detail orientated. I watched Marc, who's my creative partner, I watched him so diligently craft, like from the beginning, these animals so that they had this look of being held and loved their entire life, and that was a beautiful process to watch.
And it's actually interesting because when you see the making of the film, the soft toys were actually used, weren't they, to help the actors act against something?
They were. We had a series of things that happened on set to realize the animation. At times we would have what we called an actual stuffy, which is an actual likeness of, say, Pooh. And at times, we would take that out and we would shoot with nothing, or we would shoot just with like a stick, basically. And to watch Ewan give such an extraordinary performance to, basically at times nothing, it just speaks to how talented Ewan McGregor is.
I was going to say, what was it about his charisma? Well, he is charismatic, isn't he? But what was it that made him unique as an actor to make the perfect Christopher Robin?
Well, I watched Marc do this. I've watched him many times with actors. When you meet an actor and you just click, immediately that person understands this role. Marc and Ewan met, and immediately Ewan just knew. He knew the seed of this performance that was going to happen, and Marc and he were just, that was the journey, that was it, and they went with it.
And it's an exciting time for filmmakers as well, now seeing Disney now bringing live action to their once animated characters and bringing it to a new generation.
It's such an exciting time. I think Disney has this whole world to explore of stories like this and bringing them to a new generation, and doing so, as you said, with this live animation. And animation is just a whole new world too. We're on a frontier.
Watching the film, I found that there was a real sort of sincerity and a real effort to make to be true to the original work. Is that what was paramount?
Oh, absolutely. I think loyalty to the original source material was of huge importance to us, and I think that sincerity really comes through our filmmaker, who is always trying to ground something in real emotions and put a real environment up there on screen so that the magic of those characters coming into that world is all the more spectacular.
And we're seeing now the film through Christopher Robin as an adult. How important was it to, because Christopher Robin was a real person, so grounding that person in reality to bring more authenticity, really?
Absolutely. We wanted to feel like that his life was a very real one that we could all recognize and project ourselves into that. We were careful to tell the story about a fictional Christopher Robin rather than the historical Christopher Robin Milne. Our you know, the sort of life events aren't the same, because we want to tell a story about a universal story about growing up and then being revisited by the things from your past and figuring out how important is it and what's the relevance of those old friendships and the old lessons in our life today.
And I imagine it's quite redeeming as well for Pooh, because he comes to rescue Christopher Robin.
Yeah, I think that he finds great satisfaction in the ability to return a favor. Christopher Robin has been able to do things for him pretty much all of his life, and so this is a unique opportunity for him to help out.
And for yourself, you're the role of a producer, I imagine, with a big Disney film. There are many facets to what a producer has to do. What was your specific role within the film?
One of the big ones was just helping to develop the story and to find the right filmmaker and the right cast and crew for this movie. And so I feel very fortunate to have collaborated with the people that I have, especially Marc, our director.